How is it going? All right, we are going to start a new book today. I have read this with other fourth grade classes and they have enjoyed it. So I think this will be a good one to kind of round out our year. We've got just probably this one and one more read aloud before you guys are going to be fifth graders. So yay. All right, so this book, it's been read quite a few times. So it looks a little destroyed. So just bear with me, okay? This one is called The Kid in the Red Jacket. I'm gonna read the little summary on the back to you guys and kind of go from there. All right, I can't believe it. I'm actually going to be the new kid. Howard Jeter is living his worst nightmare. His parents have moved him across the country without even asking, and they don't care one bit that they have ruined his life. The kids in Howard's new town act as if he's totally invisible, except for his 6-year-old neighbor, Molly Vera Thompson. True, Howard could use a friend, but an annoying little girl who talks nonstop and looks like a miniature bozo isn't exactly what he had in mind. Of course, when you're really lonely, you'll be friends with anyone. Almost. All right, so this is The Kid in the Red Jacket. And we will start with chapter 1. My leg's hot, I announced as our car pulled out of the driveway. It was the day of the big move. At least that's what my parents kept calling it. I hated that. It's not that I didn't realize moving from Arizona to Massachusetts was big. It's just that when they said it, they made it seem real exciting and fun. They never made it sound like what it really was, rotten. My mother turned around and gave me one of those looks. Please, Howard, don't start. We haven't even made it to the street yet. I glanced over at my baby brother, Gaylord. He was sitting happily in his car seat, staring at his hands. He had just discovered his hands and he kept opening and closing them like they were some new invention. I reached out and touched his leg. Gaylord's leg isn't hot, I reported. Gaylord's in the shade. Has anyone ever noticed how Gaylord always gets the shade? I mean, I'm aware he's a baby and everything, but I don't think you should play favorites like this. I think we should flip a coin to see who gets the shady side. When no one said anything, I leaned toward him. What's that, Gaylord? What's that you? What? Oh, you want what? I tapped my father on the shoulder. Gaylord says he wants to switch places. He says he wants to get some sun on those lily white legs of his. My mother just sighed. She probably would have yelled, but I had been making her yell so much lately, I think she was getting sort of sick of it. Normally, parents really enjoy yelling, but I guess it's like anything else, too much of a good thing, and it's just really not fun anymore. What's weird is, until this move came along, I hardly made my parents yell at all. I don't mean I'm an angel or anything, but I get good grades at school, and I've never been arrested. I don't think parents can ask for really much more than that. I used to actually even like my parents. They had always been pretty understanding, pretty fair. They didn't go around tickling me in public or embarrassing me the way that some parents do. That's what was so crazy about our big move. They hardly even discussed it with me. I mean, really? I'm not even kidding. My father just came home all excited one day and told me he'd gotten this big promotion and we'd be moving to Massachusetts. That was it. We didn't even take a vote. He made it sound real cheery, of course. Whenever parents announce something you're going to hate, they try to spice it up and make it sound better than it is. They kept calling the move a great new adventure. Then they spent a lot of time telling me how much better off I was going to be because of my father's new job. They talked about college and my future, stuff I couldn't care less about right now. So instead of feeling better, mostly I just felt sick to my stomach. I cried a lot after I found out. I didn't do it in front of my parents though. When you're 10 and a half, you don't like a lot of people sitting around watching your nose run. That's why I saved most of it for my room, muffling my blubbering sounds with my pillow. Sometimes I got so soggy I couldn't sleep on it. But I was more scared than I'd actually ever been before. but it wasn't the kind of scared you feel when you think there's a dead guy with a hatchet hiding in your closet at night. It was the kind of scared. Moving makes you feel all alone inside. You don't know what the new town is going to look like, or your new house or street, or what kind of people you're going to meet. It may not sound scary, but if you ever have to move, you will absolutely understand what I mean. Anyway, besides making me feel sad and scared, the whole idea of moving also made me furious. How could my parents do this to me? How could they just whisk me away from all of my friends and school and soccer team and then tell me what a great new adventure it's going to be? I was going to have. Really? Did they actually expect me to be happy about it? Did they think that I had no feelings? That they could just pick up, they could just pick me up like some dumb stuffed animal and set me down any old place and I'd just be fine? As the car neared the end of my street, I started fidgeting. I'm bored and my leg's hot, I whined. Also, I think I might be getting car sick. At the wheel, I saw my father shaking his head in disgust. Come on, Howard, not today, okay? Why don't you take some time off from complaining and just relax? Relax, I thought to myself. Are you kidding? Complaining is my job now. It's what I do. Suddenly, my mother reached into a bag in the front seat and tossed me an orange. She does this sort of thing a lot when we're traveling. Since I've never been what you would call a good little traveler, my mother buys a bunch of stuff to keep me busy so I don't gripe. When you think about it, it's kind of insulting, like feeding a gorilla a bunch of bananas so he won't bother you. I was particularly annoyed at my mother lately, especially after what I heard her say to Aunt Emily on the phone. It happened a couple of days before we moved. I was sitting on the back stairs so she wouldn't know that I was around. Yeah, he's not too happy about it right now, Em, she had said. But you know how kids are. Once you get them there, they always seem to bounce right back. Bounce right back? I'm not kidding, she really said that. She made me sound like a Nerf ball. Like she had a foam rubber sun with no emotions at all. The more I thought about it, the more annoyed I got. I tried to take my mind off things by looking out the window, but my father's voice distracted me. He said, pondering out loud, I wonder if the van will get to Massachusetts before we do. The moving van? Why did I have to bring up that stupid thing? I hated that van, and all the stupid moving men that came with it. The day they packed our stuff had been the worst day of my life. My parents were upstairs when the knock came at the door. Answer that, would you, Howard? Called my father. We're busy up here. I can't, I called back. I'm in my pajamas. My father was standing at the top of the stairs with his hands full. No one cares what you're wearing, Howard. Just let them in inside the house now. I care what I'm wearing. Have you seen these things? Would someone please tell Nana that I'm too old for Porky Pig pajamas? Howard! My father was using his killing voice. You push him so far, but when he uses that voice, it's best to do what he says. So I went to the door. Hi, Sonny. There were 3 of them, all lined up in their brown moving men's suits. They came inside. One of them looked at my pajamas and whispered, Porky Pig, huh? He asked. I covered Porky with my hands and ran up to my room. Then I locked the door so no one could come in. And later, when the movers were ready to pack my stuff, my father got a key and opened it. It still makes me sick when I think about it. The moving man stomped right in and started dumping all of my stuff into big boxes. He just heaped it together like it was garbage or something. When the marbles fell out of my Chinese checkers, he dumped them in the box without even putting them back in the game first. It really made me furious. I don't even like Chinese checkers, but a guy still likes to keep his marbles together. I concentrated harder on looking out the car window. As luck would have it, we were just passing the Thornsberry's house. Seeing it gives me a really empty feeling in the pit of my stomach. Barry Thornsberry is one of my best friends. Saying goodbye to him and to my other best friend, Roger Grimsley, had been the hardest thing I had ever had to do in my entire life. The 3 of us practically grew up together. I know this sounds mean, but I felt closer to Thornsberry and Roger than I did to my very own baby brother. I mean, we've known each other longer, since preschool. Our teacher, Miss Filbert, introduced us and assigned us to the same work table. Thornsberry was crying at the time. Of the 3 of us, he's the most sensitive. He thought his mother had given him to Miss Filbert for keeps. It took him about a week to figure out. I didn't like Thornsberry at first. It's hard to get to know a kid who only talks to you from behind a Kleenex. I liked Roger, though. On the first day of school, Miss Filbert asked us to draw a picture of our family. Roger drew a cow. That's a nice cow, Roger, she said, but are you sure you understood the project? You were supposed to draw a picture of your family. Roger just smiled happily and nodded. Later, we learned that cows were the only things Roger could draw. By the end of the year, Miss Filbert had taught him to stand them on 2 legs and dress them with clothes. Personally, I thought it was a big mistake. In kindergarten, every time Roger drew a picture of his family, it looked like they all had cow heads. Well, before the move, I talked a lot of my worries over with Thornsberry and Roger. They hated me leaving just as much as I did, but they tried to make me feel better about it. Come on, Howard, said Thornsberry. Maybe it won't be as bad as you think. Well, how could it not be bad? I asked gloomily. Didn't you ever study about Massachusetts in history? The Pilgrims moved there, and by the first winter, practically all of them were goners. Roger made a face. Ugh. Yeah, I didn't like that. Ever since my mom made me read about them around Halloween. Do you remember that? Oh, man. Thornsberry gave me a funny look. You don't really think you're going to be a goner there, do you, Howard? Well, maybe not actually die, I admitted, but I'm going to have to go to a stupid new school, and that's almost like dying. Every time I thought about it, my stomach tied itself in knots. Oh, I cannot believe it. I'm actually going to have to be the new kid. Thornsberry and Roger groaned. We got a new kid in our room about a week ago, Roger said. No one can remember his name, so we just call him by the color of his shirt. On Thursday, he was the kid in the green shirt. On Friday, he wore a shirt with a name on it, so we called him the kid in the Kenneth shirt. Thornsberry hit Roger on the arm. We're supposed to be making him feel better, remember? It doesn't matter, I replied. It's not like I don't know what happens to new kids. I've had enough of them in my class to see how hard it is to fit in. Yeah, but you won't have any trouble, Howard, said Roger. It's not like you're a geek or anything. At school, you're practically even popular. Sure, Howard, added Roger. You won't have any trouble. You'll see. Thinking about how nice they had tried to be almost made me start to cry. My mother must have heard me snivel or something because she turned around. What's the matter, she asked, raising her eyebrows sympathetically. Everything, I answered dismally. Everything's the matter. She just sighed and turned back around. A second later, she threw over a granola bar. Instead of saying thank you, I made a noise like a gorilla. She didn't say anything, but I'm pretty sure she got the message. We had turned onto the highway by then, so I spent the next couple of hours reading signs, trying to get my mind off the move. It wasn't easy, though. Every few minutes, we'd pass a billboard with kids painted on it, and I'd start wondering about the kids in Massachusetts. What would they be like? Would they dress the same way we did in Arizona? I hoped that I would fit in. One time we had a German kid visit our school, and he wore a suit and a bow tie. He looked like a little grandfather or something. Anyway, all I've got to say is that moving really stunk. And even though it's over now, I still don't blame myself for the way I acted about it. A lot of mean stuff has been done to me. By my parents, by the moving men, and by my father's stupid company. And even though sometimes you can control your anger, you can't control your sadness. And that's what I mostly was, I guess. Sad. Sad about leaving my friends and my school and my room and my soccer team and a million other things. If you've ever been really, really sad, you know what I'm talking about. Sadness is with you all the time. Even when your friends are trying to make you laugh. Sadness seems to be waiting right behind your smile. All right, that's the end of chapter 2, okay? Another reason I chose this book is because I have a very big connection to it, okay? Because I moved around quite often when I was younger with my dad's job, okay? And I was the new kid a lot, and it's an adjustment. So I can kind of relate to Howard in the story, and so that is part of the reason why I like it, why I chose this book. So I hope that you guys are interested and excited to see where this story goes. And I look forward to hearing if any of you have ever had this same experience, okay? All right. Hope you guys have a good rest of your day. See you later. Bye.